Welcome to this new video of hyperbola. In this we are going to systematically start with weightage of hyperbola in JEE Mains. Then we are going to go into syllabus, what JEE has prescribed. Then we'll move into mind maps and see in detail what does hyperbola contains. And then ultimately discuss the 10 problem types in which I have classified previous 5-year questions of hyperbola based on current syllabus. Before you start this video, it is highly recommendable that if you have not watched the video on straight line, circle, parabola and ellipse, you go and watch that as well, because we will be taking a lot of reference in this video when we discuss problems. So without any further delay, let us start with it. The first thing is nothing but the weightage. The weightage of this topic is generally considered as a weightage of conic section as a whole, and conic section as a whole will get somewhere around 2 questions. That 2 questions can be from either parabola, ellipse or hyperbola. So we need to prepare all of these 3 topics to get those 2 questions right. But the good thing is the quality of the questions can generally be termed as easy to moderate when we are dealing with hyperbola. If I look into the syllabus, you can see that there has been no syllabus change from 24 to 25, but there were huge syllabus changes. If we look into 2023, the tangent idea was removed, and according to me, if tangent is removed, the normal and all such discussions also get removed that are connected to tangents. Now if I look into the mind map of the topic, we will start our discussion with pure conic, where we will first study what are the elements of a hyperbola. Then we will systematically move towards standard equations of hyperbola. Then we will translate those equations to get into translated cases. Then we will consider the case of parametric equation and auxiliary circle. And then we will end our discussion on this by going into the oblique cases. In point, we are going to start with the discussion of location of a point with respect to hyperbola, and there are huge changes here compared to parabola and ellipse that we need to consider. Then in line, I will give you the condition of tangency, because there has been a condition question or so. Rest of the things are not included, but we are going to consider the cases of chord, where I am going to discuss chord bisected. And then in the properties, I am going to deal with the most important property on which question has not been asked but can be asked, is reflection property. So we are going to discuss problems on reflection property, and then we are going to go into the conic-conic interaction, and this has been the most important in terms of number of questions getting asked from this topic. Now the first problem type that we are going to start is nothing but questions based on standard equation. Now let us first understand some basic results for hyperbola. So first is nothing but the definition. The definition is SP is equal to EPM. This is the definition for whole of conic sections. Now we have discussed this in detail. The second idea is, if we have one focus as S1, another focus as S2, then S1P plus S2P will be equal to 2A. This is also a very important idea. So using these 2 ideas, you can write the equation of hyperbola and then solve questions based on that as well. Moving forward, the first standard equation, if I look into, this is how it looks like. You can see that the elements are the center is at 0, 0, and the focus is at AE, 0 and minus AE, 0. If you look into the vertices will be at A, 0 and minus A, 0. So there are 2 vertices. So if I consider this is S1, this is S2, we have vertex 1 and vertex 2. Now corresponding to this, we have also 2 directrix that will go like this. The equation of this directrix is again x equal to plus minus A by E. You can see that when we are solving this, all of those results are same as that of ellipse. There is no difference. So for most of the cases, in the results of ellipse, we will replace b square by minus b square to get the results of hyperbola. This is very important. 80% of results can be obtained by using this idea. So if I write the equation of this hyperbola that is with us, it will become x square by a square minus y square by b square equal to 1. You can check this idea. So in the equation of ellipse, we have replaced b square by minus b square, and we have got the equation of hyperbola. Now once you have done that, there is one very obvious thing, that is nothing but latus rectum, and you will see that everything corresponding to latus rectum also remains same. So length of latus rectum still remains 2b square by a, because there are lots of questions based on this. The extremities will remain the same as plus minus AE plus minus b square by a. So you can see that this is the most important result that we will consider. Another important result is that of eccentricity. Eccentricity, again, if I replace b square by minus b square, will become 1 plus root of b square plus a square. So you can see that all of the results are exactly same as hyperbola. Few that are different can be obtained by replacing b square by minus b square. Moving forward, if I look into a very simple question, the first thing that I am going to do is I am going to divide this by 144. So this becomes x square by 9 by y square by 16. This is going to be 1. Now once you have observed this, you have figured out the value of a as a square is 9 and b square is 16. So that will make a is nothing but 3 and b is nothing but 4. So very important thing to notice here is, if I write the equation of an ellipse as x square by 16 plus y square by 9 equal to 1, and if I change the denominator x square by 9 plus y square by 16 is equal to 1, the orientation changes. This would be like this and this would be like this. In case of hyperbola, this will not happen. So even if this is smaller than this, the orientation is going to be the same as above. It is not going to change, and how it will change, that will look into a little bit into the video. But this is how it is going to be. So once you have written it down like this, now apply the standard results. They want us to write the equation or the length of transverse axis. Transverse axis is nothing but this axis. So this axis that joins or passes through both the focus is known as transverse axis. So length of transverse axis will be nothing but twice of a. So a here is nothing but 3, so this will become 2 into 3, this becomes 6. The second part says that find the length of conjugate axis. Conjugate axis is nothing but this axis perpendicular to transverse axis and passing through center. Once you have this, the length of conjugate axis would be nothing but 2 times b, and this is nothing but 2 into 4, this comes out to be 8. Third thing that they are asking is eccentricity. So for eccentricity, we have a formula, e is root of 1 plus, remember here it is b square by. So in the case of hyperbola, e is greater than 1. This is also an important thing to notice. If I substitute the value, this becomes 1 plus 16 by 9. And if you do so, this comes out to be 5 by 3. The next thing what they are asking us to do is nothing but find the coordinates of the foci, vertex and the length of lattice rectum. So see, if you want to find in the fourth step foci, the foci is going to be plus minus ae comma 0, and this is same as ellipse that we did earlier. E came out to be nothing but 5 by 3, a is nothing but 3. So if you substitute the value, it is plus minus 5 comma 0. This is important to note. Fifth is nothing but vertex. If you look into the vertices, it is plus minus a comma 0. So answer corresponding to this will also become plus minus 3 comma 0. And ultimately, the last thing is nothing but length of lattice rectum. So in the sixth part, length of lattice rectum, if I write, it is 2b square by a. B square is nothing but 16, a is nothing but 3, so answer becomes 32 by 3. You can see that these are the basic elements that we need to delineate when we are looking into any hyperbola. I have written all the elements and then give you the detailing of how to obtain them. Now once you have done that, let us move on to the second case. Now the second case is very simple. The orientation has changed. So the equation corresponding to this would be nothing but y square by a square minus x square by b square is equal to 1. Why are we writing this? So what we have done is we have just replaced x by y and y by x in the earlier equation, and this will also be reflected in terms of results. So if I want to write the result, the center will still remain 0 comma 0, no problem. And the property that if a chord passes through the center, it will get bisected, this is also true. We also have double ordinate, that is still true. We also have something known as focal chord, that is also true. But if I want to write the foci, it will become plus 0 comma plus minus a. So you can see that x and y coordinate interchanged. Here also it will become 0 comma minus ae. The vertex in this case is nothing but 0 comma a. In this case it becomes 0 comma minus a. You can see that all the results are same, just we are replacing x by y and y by x and getting all the answers. Let me show you a very interesting idea. So if you are writing equation of directrix, in case of directrix, you can see for x square by a square minus y square by, we have the same result as this of that of ellipse. So answer was x equal to plus minus a by e. This is the same result for that of ellipse. But if I want to transform that relation in this case, what is going to happen? We are going to replace x by y and y by A. So if I do so, this in this we will get y is equal to plus minus a by e. Everything will remain same. So this kind of approach of writing y square by a square x square by b square is highly useful in remembering the result. You don't need to remember extra results. Same results we can use with a lot of efficacy. Once we have done that, let us move towards the idea of conjugate hyperbola. Now see, if you have x square by a square minus y square by b square equal to 1, what is the conjugate hyperbola? If you write the same thing, but instead of doing 1 on the right hand side, if I replace it with minus 1, it becomes a conjugate hyperbola. What does that mean? If I write the eccentricity of the first one, it is root of 1 plus b square by a square. But if you simplify this, this will start looking like y square by b square minus x square by a square is equal to 1. So now if you want to write the eccentricity of the second one, it will become root of 1 plus a square by b square. You can see that there is connection between E1 and E2, and the connection is, if I write 1 by E1 square plus 1 by E2 square, this is going to be 1. Now this is important. Remember this idea. It will be used in solving problems. Having said that, a question is given, and now you have been given a hyperbola that looks like this. Let us write it down. X square by 9 minus y square by 16 is equal to minus 1. You can see that it is nothing but a conjugate hyperbola. I can simplify and write this as y square by 16 minus x square by 9 is equal to 1. And after writing this, now we will not do it by assuming what is below y square as b square. We will take it as a square so that our results get simplified. We will compare it with this. So as a result, the value of a becomes 4, the value of b comes out to be 3. Now let us see what they have asked in the question. So now first draw a small diagram. So if I draw a small diagram, you can see the orientation has changed, it has become like this. Now having said that, let us write the first thing. The length of the transverse axis. The length of transverse axis is nothing but 2 times a. So that becomes nothing but 8. In the second part, what they are asking is nothing but length of conjugate axis. Length of conjugate axis, if I write, it will be equal to 2 times b, and 2 times b is nothing but 2 into 3 comes out to be 6. Third part, what they are asking is nothing but the eccentricity. Eccentricity will be root of 1 plus b square by a square. If I put values here, what we are going to get is 1 plus 9 by 16. So again it becomes 5 by 4. And in the fourth part, what they are asking is nothing but the coordinates of the foci. So foci are nothing but, for the foci, x and y coordinates will get interchanged. So it is 0 comma plus minus ae. So answer corresponding to this comes out to be 0 comma plus minus 5. And this is a minor change. Till this point of time, there was almost no change. Till the fifth one, it talks about the coordinates of the vertices. So if you want to write vertices, the answer corresponding to this will become 0 comma plus minus a. So that comes out to be 0 comma plus minus 4. And the sixth thing that we are looking into is nothing but length of lattice rectum. The length of lattice rectum is nothing but 2b square by a. B square in this case will become 9. So 2 into 9 by 4. Answer comes out to be 9 by 2. And ultimately, the equation of the directrix. So we will write x by y by x. So y is equal to plus minus a by e. A is nothing but 4. E came out to be nothing but 5 by 4. The answer becomes plus minus 16 by 5. In this manner, we can write all the 7 results that are given to us. Having said that, now let us move into 2019 question. Question says that they have given you the directrix of the hyperbola, then its corresponding focuses. If you write it down, it will become x square by 9 minus y square by 16 is equal to 1. Once you have noticed that the orientation is going to be like this. There is no problem with the orientation of this. Now what they are saying is the corresponding directrix. X is nothing but minus 9 by 5. So minus 9 by 5 would be here. So now what they are asking is the location of this foci. So this foci is going to be plus minus ae comma 0. So let us find eccentricity. So here you can see that when we write this equation, it is plus minus a by e. So a by e is equal to given as 9 by 5. A from the equation becomes nothing but 3. So this is 3 by E is equal to 9 by 5, and you can see that E comes out to be nothing but 5 by 3. Eccentricity in case of hyperbola, you should always note, should be greater than 1. This is a very important idea. Now once we have done that, we have got the eccentricity. If I want to find this point, so it is going to be minus AE comma 0, and that would become nothing but A in this case is given as nothing but 3. If I multiply by 3, this becomes minus 5 comma 0. Let us check the options. You can see that B option matches. If I look into this 2019 question says that if a hyperbola of its conjugate x is equal to 5, let us keep writing things in order to make things simpler. So what they are saying is conjugate axis B is equal to twice of B is equal to 5. Length of conjugate axis is equal to 5. Length of conjugate axis is not B, it is nothing but 2B. The distance between its foci, that is nothing but 2 times A, is given as 13. You can see that similar question we did in ellipse also. There is nothing new in this. Then the eccentricity of the hyperbola. So now in order to solve this question, I told you earlier also and here also. Here we are going to use a shortcut. AE, if I write, it will be nothing but root of A square plus B square. So AE square is going to become A square plus B square. This is a very important shortcut used to solve a lot of problems. So now this is given, and what they are asking is eccentricity. So what I can do is I can simply square it. So AE square will be equal to 13 square by 4, that is 169 by 4. This can be written as nothing but A square plus B square. This is 169 by 4. So from here I know the value of B. I can take this value of B and substitute here. So it becomes A square plus 25 by 4 is equal to 169 by 4. If you simplify, A square comes out to be 144 by 4. So A comes out to be nothing but 12 by 2. It comes out to be 6. Now if I want to find eccentricity, E is nothing but root of 1 plus B square. So B was nothing but 5 by 2 divided by 6. So this square. So if I simplify this, this comes out to be nothing but 144 plus 25 divided by 144, and the answer for this question becomes 13 by 12. Let us check the options where 13 by 12 matches or not. So first option, A option, 13 by 12 matches. In this JEE 2022 question, it says that the line x minus 1 equal to 0 is a directrix. Now these are straightforward questions based on the core idea. This is nothing but a directrix of the hyperbola is given like this. Then the hyperbola passes through the point. Now let us draw a small diagram. When they are saying x equal to constant, that would mean the directrix will be parallel to the conjugate axis, and this is the scenario that they are talking about. Now when somebody says that x equal to 1, so they are talking about this directrix. So this is nothing but x equal to 1. This is my center, and when there somebody saying this also means that the answer should have been technically x equal to A by E. So they have also given the value of A by E, that is equal to 1. This is what is given in the first part. Now if I move towards the equation and if I divide this, it becomes x square 6 by k minus y square by 6 is equal to 1. So you can see that from here, if I want to write, so fundamentally what we want to find here is the value of k. If I get the value of k, I will be able to figure out the equation. If I figure out the equation, I can substitute the point and get the answer. This is what is going to happen. So figuring out this k, let us write the value of A. The A comes out to be nothing but root of 6 by k. B comes out to be nothing but root 3. Let us put all of these values here and get the value of k. So you can see that A square will be equal to E square in the third part. So I have squared it. A square will become 6 by k. B square will become nothing but 3. Once you have this, you can see that the way of k is nothing but 2. Once the value of k is nothing but 2, in the fourth step you will be able to get the equation. So this will become nothing but 3. Y square by 6 is equal to 1. You have got the equation. Substitute the option and check which one of them satisfies. Also keep checking my calculation when you are solving these problems. If I look into this JEE 2019 question, says that hyperbola has its center at the origin, passes through the point 4,2 and has transverse axis of length 4a along the x-axis. They are talking about this standard case, and they have given us that it passes through a point 4,2. So let us mark this point as 4,2. Has its transverse axis along the x-axis and length to it. So what they have also given is the value of twice of a. It is equal to 4. the eccentricity of the hyperbola, this is what they are asking. So the logical flow would be, if I want to get eccentricity, I will want to have the values of A and B. Value of A I already have. For finding B, they have given me a point 4, 2. So let us do that. So in the first step, I am going to write the equation as x square by a square minus y square by b square equal to 1. The value of x comes out, a comes out to be nothing but 2. So square will become 4. Minus y square by b square is equal to 1. In order to get the value of b, we are going to substitute the point 4, 2 in this. So that will become 16 by 4 minus 2 square by b square is equal to 1. If this cancel out, this becomes 4. So 4 by b square is coming out to be 3. You can see that the value of b square is nothing but 4 by 3. And that is sufficient because if I want to find eccentricity in the next step, it is root of 1 plus b square by a square. B square is nothing but 4 by 3. A square is nothing but 4. So it is root of 1 plus 1 by 3. That will become root of 4 by 3. Let us check the options. So you can see that B option satisfies. If I look into this 2019 question says that if a directrix of the hyperbola centered at origin passing through the point, that they have given a point, is this. You can see that whenever this give y is equal to constant, that would mean this is the hyperbola that we are talking about. And this is the equation of directrix that they have given. So it is nothing but 4 by root 5. This is given to us using this. Now eccentricity E is given to us and they are saying that this passes through a point 4, minus 2 root 3. So 4, minus 2 root 3 would be somewhere here. So now let us write the equation. The equation in the first part will become x square by a square minus y square by b square equal to 1. This will become nothing but 4 square by a square minus y square will become nothing but 4 into 3, that will become 12. This will become 12 square by b square equal to 1. Now another interesting thing that they have given, because see, we do not need to find the value of E, we need to find an equation in terms of E. So in the second part, what we are going to do is, we are going to use the relation. We know the value of A by is nothing but 4 by root 5. This we already know. So I can substitute A in terms of E as nothing but 4 by root 5E. This is 1. So you can see that out of this value we already know. If I can somehow get B, then my answer is done. So in the third part, I will write the eccentricity as nothing but 1 plus b square by a square. I will substitute the value here. So in this, if I substitute the value from here, for A, it will become b square 16 by 5e square. Now we can see that from this equation, you will find the value of, b square in terms of e square. And now we have got this value also. Both of these will substitute in this equation and will get a relationship. And then we will check the options. So these are the 3 steps that we are going to follow after this. It is not a very difficult question. If I move on to this next 2023 question, it says that HB and hyperbola whose focus are at 1 plus root 2, 0. So if I draw the diagram, this is how it looks like. 1 minus root 2, 0. And another one is 1 plus root 2, 0. The distance between them is nothing but 2 times AE. So from here, if I want to write 2 AE, it will be 2 root 2. 2 will get cancelled out. Eccentricity is given as root 2. So A will come out to be 1. So this is what we have. Now what they are asking is length of lattice rectum. So for finding length of lattice rectum, now we will have to find the value of B because it is 2b square by A. From these two, if I write the value of A, so we know that, and I told you that this we are going to use quite often. This will become A square plus B square. In the case of ellipse, it was A square minus B square. The value of A square is nothing but 1. So you can see that the value of B square also comes out to be 1. If I put it here, this will become 2. Let us check the option to see option matches. If I look into this 2022 question says that you have already been given an equation of hyperbola. Everything is given such that the sum of the length of the transverse axis and conjugate axis 2a plus 2b value is given to us. This is given as nothing but 4 times 2 root 2 plus 14 plus root 14. This is given to us. So if I cancel out this 2, this is what am I getting? The eccentricity is also given. So what they have given is the value of a plus b. This comes out to be nothing but 4 root 2 plus 2 root 14. This is first part. Now another relation that they have given is nothing but, in the second part they are talking about the value of eccentricity. This is given as nothing but root 11 by 2. Using both of these ideas, we should be able to find the answer. What they want us to find the value of a square plus b square. So now, if I square this eccentricity out, it will be equal to 1 by a square plus b square will be equal to 11 by 4. Value of b square by a square, this will be equal to 11 by 4 minus 1, and this will be equal to nothing but 7 by 4. So the ratio of b by a, so b can be written as, b by a can be written as nothing but root 7 by 2. Now this is important because now we have this relation. Another is a plus b is equal to 4 root 2 plus 2 root 40. We can use both of these. Next step, we'll want to solve these two. So for solving, I can use a very intelligent idea. I can take b as nothing but root 7k, and I can take a as nothing but 2k, and then substitute here. Now if I do so, root 7k plus 2k will be equal to 4 root 2 plus 2 root. If I divide, you are going to get nothing but 4 root 2 plus 2 root 14 by 2 plus root 7. Now it is very simple. If you simplify this, you can see that from the above I need to take 2 root 2 common. If I take 2 root 2 common, this will become nothing but 2. This will become nothing but root of 7, and now this 2 plus root 7 will get cancelled out. So the value of k comes out to be 2 root 7. So the value of a is nothing but 4 root 2, and the value of b becomes nothing but 2 root 14. Once we have this, it is very easy to find the value of a square plus b square. If I move towards this 2019 question says that if the vertices of the hyperbola are this, so let us draw the hyperbola. It is going to be one of the standard cases. The vertices are given as 2, 0. So this point is 2, 0, and this point is minus 2, 0. Next thing what they are saying is if the foci be at minus 3, 0. So this is one of the foci minus 3, 0. Then which of the following points does not lie in it? Very important to read this not in the question. So the idea should be to find the equation, that is x square minus y square by b square equal to 1, this equation. For finding this equation, you will require the value of a and b, and for doing that we have been given some conditions. So if I follow this order, I should be able to get my answer. So I will take you to the equation. After that, you can satisfy the points and get the answer. So if I solve it, we know that from here the value of a is nothing but 2 because the vertex is a, 0. The value of AE is nothing but 3 because so if I want to find the value of B, I can square the second part up. So AE whole square will be equal to 9. This will be equal to A square plus B square equal to 9. A square will become 4. So B square from here comes out to be nothing but 5. So the equation that we are getting by doing this calculation is nothing but x square by 4 plus y square minus y square by 5 is equal to 1. Now satisfy the options and check the answer. If I move towards this 2019 question says that the eccentricity of this hyperbola is greater than 2, then the length of latus rectum lies in the interval. So if eccentricity is greater than 2, that will mean 1 minus 1 plus b square by a square will be greater than 4. I have squared the eccentricity. Now b square in this case is nothing but sine square theta, and a square is nothing but cos square theta. This is nothing but greater than 4. So now what we have is 1 plus tan square theta is greater than 4. So sec square theta is greater than 4. That would mean sec square theta minus 4 should be greater than 0. So from wavy curve, what we have is sec theta plus 2 is greater than 0. So this would mean my sec theta. So this is the first part of the question. You can see that your sec theta, there is minus 2 and then there is 2. Can be either here or can be either here. Now what they're saying is the length of latus rectum. Now let us go into the second part. Length of latus rectum is nothing but 2b square by a. Now for this, b square value is nothing but sine square theta, but the value of a is nothing but cos theta. So from here what we want is nothing but the value of this term, that is 2 times tan theta into sin theta. You can see that the maximum value can happen when sec theta keeps on increasing, and in that scenario your tan theta can become as high as infinity. So maximum value will become infinity, there is no problem with that. So this option will come out to be correct. If I want to match this value also, this value will be corresponding to this minimum value, that is 2. So when sec theta is equal to 2, in that scenario what is going to happen, cos theta will be equal to 1 by 2. The value of theta is nothing but pi by 3. So if you want to find the minimum value, you can see that the minimum value will come corresponding to theta is equal to pi by 3. So there this expression comes out to be 2 into root 3 into root 3 by 2. This gets cancelled out, answer is nothing but 3. You can see that both the ends of this problem match and B comes out to be the right option. If I look into this 2024 problem, question says that the length of latus rectum subtends an angle pi by 3 at the center of the hyperbola. So let us draw the diagram. So you can see that this is how the hyperbola looks like based on the equation that is given to us. The latus rectum subtends at angle pi by 3. So let us see, this is the latus rectum. So this point will become a comma 0. This subtends an angle pi by 3. So this angle is given as nothing but pi by 3. At the center, if b square is equal to this, then they are asking something. So what we need to find is the value of b square. So now this angle is pi by 3. If I go into half of this, that is this one. So we have got a triangle in which this angle will become pi by 6. So if I draw this triangle separately, let us see what the analysis of this triangle shows. So the height will be nothing but b square by a, and the base will become nothing but, so this angle is nothing but pi by 6. So if I apply tan of pi by 6, it will be nothing but b square by a square e. And from here, if I put the value, this is 1 by root 3. This part will become nothing but a square is given but nothing but 9. So let us replace this by 9. And eccentricity can be written as 1 plus b square by a square. So here also we will get 9. Now if I simplify this, I will be able to get the value of b square. So for doing that, we'll have to put a square over it. So this becomes 1 by 3 into 81. This will become b raised to the power 4. This will become 1 plus b square by 9. If I do it so, this will become 27. Let us cross multiply and check what is happening. So b raised to the power 4 will be equal to nothing but 27 plus b square by 9 into 27. This will become 3. So we have got an equation, b raised to the power 4 minus 3b square minus 27 is equal to 0. So from here, if I find the value of b, this will become plus 3 plus minus root of b square plus 4 into 27 by 2 times a. Check my calculation, you have got the value of b square. Now the question is saying that b square is equal to this much. From here now we can compare and get the value of L and M. Put it here and get the final answer. If I look into this 2024 question says that let P be the point on the hyperbola in the first quadrant such a way that you can see that the hyperbola is given like this. The area of the triangle formed by P and the two foci. So this is what is given to us. So this is S1, this is S2, this is nothing but P. Is nothing but 2 root 13, then the square of the distance of P from the origin. So what they want us is nothing but the value of OP square. This is what they want us to find. And now in this question, what they have given is nothing but the area of this triangle. Now we can see that if I want to find the area of this triangle, it will be half of base, that is S1, S2 into height. So height of this point, if I assume this coordinate to be x comma y, would be nothing but y. Now in this triangle, if I want to do it, area is given as 2 root 13. Let us put the value. So this becomes 2 root 13. This is 1 by 2. This becomes nothing but 2 times a. This is nothing but y. So this can be cancelled out. A, if I write, it is nothing but root of a square plus b square into y. A square plus b square will become nothing but 9 plus 4. 9 plus 4 is nothing but 13. So this becomes 13. This is 2 root 13. This is nothing but y. So this cancels out. The value of y comes out to be 2. Once we have got the value of y, this is my first part. In the second part, I can substitute in the equation x square by 9 minus y square by 4 equal to 1. Put the value of y here. So x square by 9, this will also become 4, this will become 4, this gets cancelled out. You can see that x square will be equal to 18. So once you have got that, the value of x comes out to be root 18, but it is not required. What we want to find is nothing but OP square. Now if I want to find OP square, it is nothing but x square plus y square. This value is 18, y came out to be nothing but 4. So answer of this question becomes 22. Now let us look into this 2024 question. Question says that you have been given a hyperbola that looks like a conjugate hyperbola. So let us write it down systematically. So we can write this down as y square by b square minus x square by a square is equal to 1. Now what they are talking about, eccentricity is given as root 3. This is another information that they have given. And then the length of latus rectum. Length of latus rectum is given as 4 root 3. So you can see that you have been given two very important informations. Using this, we will find the value of A and B. Once you have figured out the value of A, so if I write the latus rectum, length of latus rectum, it will be 2b square. In case here, in place of b square, A is written. So we will write it A square by B. This will be equal to 4 root 3. If I multiply B in the denominator for both the parts, this will get cancelled out. So what we have got is nothing but A square by B square. And this is nothing but 2 root 3 by b. Now why is this important? So if I apply the condition of eccentricity, it will become e square is nothing but 1 plus b square, but in place of b square, A is written. So a square by b square again we will write. This value we can substitute here. This will become 3. This will become 1. A square by b square is nothing but 2 root 3 by b. Once we have done this, you can see that this will also become 2. So 2 is equal to 2 root 3 by b. This will get cancelled out. The value of b comes out to be root 3. Once the value of b is root 3, we know the value of a square by b square. And or more importantly, we know the value of a by b from here. So a square by b was nothing but 2 root 3. If b comes out to be root 3, a square will become 6. So we have got the value of a square. So you can see that by doing this, in the second part, before moving there, we have simplified this equation to y square by 3 minus x square by 6 equal to 1. So we have got this part. Now in the second part, what they are saying is, so if I draw this equation, this is how it looks like. These are the two directrix. Now what they are saying is, if I take a point, alpha comma 6 would be here. And this is one of the focus S1, this is another focus S2. So what they're saying is, if I take alpha comma 6, the first thing about alpha comma 6 that you should notice is, if I satisfy this in the equation, what is the value of alpha? So correspondingly, this will become 36 by 3 minus alpha square by 6 is equal to 1. This becomes nothing but 12. So alpha square comes out to be nothing but 66. So this part we have settled down, because this will also be required in the final answer. So this value we have figured out. Now what they're saying next is, if I take the focal distance of this point alpha comma 6, their product is beta. So this is p. So if I take this, and if I take this distance and multiply. So now we will have, for doing this next part, second part of the equation, we will have to apply, find the value of focal distance. It will be equal to pm1. So if I want to find this, I can find this by using this. Now we can see that this distance is given as 6. This would be equal to, here in this case, b by e. So that will become, b we figured out was nothing but root 3. So root 3 by root 3 this will become, so this distance is 1. So you can see that S1p, if I write, it is root 3 times pm1. pm1 will be 6 minus 1. And S2p, it will be e times pm2, this distance. So you can see that this will become root 3 times 6 plus 1. So this first part becomes nothing but 5 root 3. 7 times root 3. So now if you multiply both of them in the third step, S1P into S2P, this will be equal to nothing but 5 into 7, 35 into 3. This comes out to be nothing but 90 plus 15 will be 105. Now what they're saying is, in the fourth part, if you add alpha square plus beta, alpha square was 66, beta we have figured out as 105. Let us add it up. So it will become 160 plus 11. 160 plus 11, and that will be equal to nothing but 171. Let us check the options. So 171 is given in option B, that becomes our correct answer. Now let us move towards this 2023 question. This question talks about a hyperbola, and the eccentricity of the hyperbola is given in such a manner that it is a rational number. So in the first step, let us write the eccentricity. The eccentricity would be nothing but root of 1 plus b square by a square, that will become 3 plus n by 1 plus n. So if you simplify this, this becomes nothing but 4 plus 2n by 1 plus n. So now this expression should be in such a manner that whatever is inside this root should come out as a rational number. So this 4 plus 2n by 1 plus n should be of the form, let us say, L square by k square, something like that. This is what we are talking about. Now if this is to happen, you can see that there is 1 2 in the numerator. If you simplify this, it will become 2 plus n by 1 plus n. So one thing is clear, that this term also needs to contribute 2. So it will make sense if I put n is equal to 2m. If I do so, you can see that this will become 2, this will become 2m, this will become 1 plus 2m. And now if you simplify, you can see that you are getting a 4, which has already become a square. And what we are getting is nothing but m plus 1 in the numerator and 2m plus 1 in the denominator. Once you have done this, and this has simplified your calculation, now we will check for values of m. So you can make a small table now. Put the value of m and correspondingly check the value of m plus 1 by 2m plus 1. Once you keep on doing this, and it will take some time, at 24th value, what you are going to figure out is 24 plus 1 by 24 into 2 will become 48 plus 1. We get 25 by 49, which is in the form of a square, and the root will become rational. Now we can see that you will have to do calculation till 24 in order to reach here. Now I am in the process of figuring out a smarter solution. If I am able to figure out a smarter solution to same question, I will put that solution in the shorts. Now if I look into this 2022 question says that A and B are both positive, and E and L respectively be the eccentricity and length of latus rectum for this hyperbola that is given to us respectively. And if eccentricity and length of the latus rectum of the conjugate hyperbola is given as this, find the value of 77a plus 44b. See, if I write in the first step, the equation of hyperbola, it is x square by a square minus y square by b square equal to 1. So eccentricity is nothing but E. So if I write the value, it is nothing but E square will become 1 plus b square by a square. And if I write the value of L, it is going to also become 2b square by a. Now the second idea what they have given is nothing but E dash and L dash are that for conjugate hyperbola. The conjugate hyperbola will become y square by b square. There is a difference of minus sign. So if you want to write the value of E dash square now, it is 1 plus a square by b square. And if we want to write the value of L dash, it will be nothing but 2a square by b. Now what they want us to do is, using these relations that they have given, one is E square is equal to 11 by 14L, E dash square is equal to 11 by 8 L dash. They want us to find the value of this expression. For finding this, will require the value of A and B. So from here, we will figure out the value of A and B, substitute here and get the final answer. 1 plus b square by a square is equal to 11 by 14 into 2b square by a. You can see that from here what we are getting is a square plus b square by a, b square, and this will be equal to nothing but 11 by 7. This is my first equation. In the next part, what they are saying is 1 plus a square by b square is equal to 11 by 8 to a square by b. So from here if you solve, we will get another equation, that is a square plus b square by a square b. This value is coming out to be nothing but 11 by 4. This is my second equation. Now we can see that we have two equations, two unknowns. We can solve them and get the answer. For doing that, you will have to divide them. So if I divide the first equation by the second equation, what I am going to get is the value of a by b. And a by b will come out to be nothing but 11 by 7 divided by, so this will become 4 by 7. Once you have got the value of a, b, you can put these values here, get the value of a by a and b, and in the next part, that is the fourth part, we are going to substitute it in the expression 77a plus 44b to get the answer. If I look into this 2021 question talks about locus of point of intersection of these two lines. So in order to find the locus of point of intersection, I just need to eliminate the value of k. So from the second equation, you can see that it is quite simple. It is given as root 3x minus y minus 4 root 3k is equal to 0. I can find the value of k from here. It comes out to be nothing but root 3x minus y by 4 root 3. So we have figured out the value of k. In the next step, we can substitute in the first equation, eliminate the k and get the locus. So if I put the value of k here, it becomes root 3x minus y by 4 root 3 plus y times again root 3x minus y by 4 root 3 y minus 4 root 3 is equal to 0. Now this is a simple calculation based question. In the third step, if I simplify, this will become 3x square minus root 3xy. The next will become nothing but root 3xy minus y square. 16 into 3 is equal to 0. These two will get cancelled out. What we have got is 3x square minus y square is equal to 48. And if I divide x square by 16 minus y square by 48 will be equal to 1. So if I want to find the eccentricity, it is a quite simple question after that. The eccentricity will become root of 1 plus b square by a square. So the answer comes out to be 1 plus 48 by 16, that is nothing but root of 4, that comes out to be 2. Now if I look into this 2022 question says that you have been given the eccentricity and latus rectum of a hyperbola. In the first part, let us write it down. So x square by a square minus y square by b square equal to 1. So they have given the eccentricity of this as nothing but E and L and length of latus rectum. In this type 2 problem type, we are going to discuss questions which are based on translated equation of hyperbola. Now before we start, you should understand what will happen in the translated case. As we did in ellipse, the same idea we are going to follow here. So if you have not watched the ellipse one shot video, it is highly recommendable you do it, because we will keep referring to those ideas. Center got shifted. So what I told you there was, everywhere I am going to replace x by x minus x1 and y by y minus y1. That would mean my equation will now look like x minus x1 whole square y minus y1 whole square by b square is equal to 1. And every point will have x1 comma y1 added. So for example, if I want to find this vertex, I will have to add x1 and y1 to both x and y coordinates. Alternately, I can also look into this idea. The old results, if I put in terms of x, x minus x1 and in terms of y, y minus y1, I should get the same answer. So if I do so, you can see that still I am getting the same answer. So again, there are two techniques to do it. One geometrically by observing, or another replacing x by x1 and y minus y1. Same thing we can do here as well. The center is again x1 comma y1. So here also the equation will become y minus y1 whole square by a square minus x1 whole square by b square is equal to 1. Now this is important to know because all the results again I can obtain by replacing x by x minus x1 and y by y minus y1. That would mean if I want to write the equations of directrix, so for earlier it was nothing but y is equal to plus minus a by e. In this new scenario, this will change and become y minus y1 is equal to plus minus a by e. Just by doing this small transformation, you can get all the results. There is no difficulty in doing such questions. Now let us look into this 2024 question. Question says that the loci of a hyperbola h coincide with the foci. Now let us first draw what they have given. So they have given us a translated ellipse. So if I draw this ellipse, you can see that the center would be nothing but 1, 1. This axis, the value of a is nothing but 10, so this point is 10, 0. This point will become minus 10, 0. And if I want to find the foci, in this case, I will first have to find the eccentricity. Eccentricity for this will become 1 minus b square by a square. So this will become 75 by 100. If you simplify, it will become root of 25 by 100. That will become root of 1 by 4 or 1 by 2. Now if I check the value, what they have given is basically, in this case, the length of major axis, that is 2a, is nothing but, conjugate axis is nothing but, transverse axis is nothing but alpha, and 2 times b is nothing but beta. So you can see that if I want to write the equation, it will become x square by a square minus y square by b square is equal to 1. So if I draw this also, what you will get is this point will be nothing but 5, 0 because it is given that it is confocal. It has the same focus. So now what you can observe is this 5 will be nothing but a times e2. Now from here 5 is fine, a is nothing but alpha by 2 and b is nothing but 2. So this will get cancelled out. The value of alpha comes out to be 5. Now once we have done this first, now we will move forward and find the value of beta. For that, eccentricity is given. So e2 square will be equal to 1 plus capital B square by a square. This is nothing but 4. This becomes 1. Now if I substitute the value, this will be beta by 2 whole square by alpha by 2 whole square. So if I simplify, this comes out to be 3. This is nothing but beta square by alpha square. So you can see that beta square from here would be nothing but 3 into 25, that is nothing but 75. Once you have got this value, the next step would be to find the value of this expression 3 alpha square plus 2 beta square. So 3 alpha square came out to be 25 and 2 times beta square came to be 75. If I simplify this, it is nothing but 75 into 3. 75 into 3 is nothing but 225. So you can see that your A option matches. Now type 3 questions are based on parametric equation of hyperbola. In order to know the parametric equation, first we should understand the concept of auxiliary circle and corresponding points. Now a circle drawn with the length of semi-transverse axis as nothing but radius would be known as auxiliary circle. So the equation of this circle will come out to be x square plus y square equal to a square, and you can see that this is the same that we got in the case of ellipse as well. Now once you have this, we have this point as a comma 0. This point will become minus a comma 0. Now from here, if I take any point on this curve at an angle theta, so this point will become a cos theta, a sin theta using parametric coordinates of circle. And now from here, if I draw a tangent at this point, it will intersect at a certain point on the axis. Once you have taken that, from here if you draw a perpendicular to the axis, you can see that you will get this point. So the initial point was nothing but Q. This point will become P. So if you get the coordinates of P point, it will be nothing but a sec theta, b tan theta. Needless to say that if I join this point to the center, this angle might be phi and may or may not be equal to theta. This is important to notice because most of the people will get this wrong. Whenever the question they are unable to, they will apply some kind of a fraud technique to get the answer. Now using this idea, we can have parametric coordinates. So if we have a hyperbola of this form, the parametric coordinates for this one, a parametric equation will become x equal to a sec theta, y is equal to b tan theta. If we have of this form y square by a square minus x square by b square equal to 1, x and y coordinates will interchange. So x will become nothing but b tan theta and y will become nothing but x a sec theta. So you can see that this technique of interchanging the values of x and y is very important. If you want to do the same thing, but now if you are shifting the origin, so if I shift the origin and write the first equation as nothing but x minus x1 whole square by a square minus y1 whole square by b square equal to 1. The answer will have x minus x1 in place of x and it will become x minus x a sec theta. So value of x comes out to be x1 plus a sec theta. And similarly y coordinate also, y minus y1 is equal to b tan theta. So y will also become y1 plus b tan theta. Now here a very important thing to notice would be same thing we can do in this case also. So this I am not writing, I think you will be able to get it. Now this is this JEE Mains 2024 question. It says that consider a hyperbola having center at origin and foci on the x-axis. So let us draw this. So if you want to draw this, this is how it is going to look like. Foci is on the x-axis, center is at the origin. So this point is nothing but 0, 0. If you want to write the equation, it is x square by a square minus y square by b square equal to 1. So this they have given in the first line itself. Let C1 be the circle touching the hyperbola at h and having the center at origin. So what they have given now is nothing but an auxiliary circle. The equation of the auxiliary circle in this case will become x square plus y square is equal to a square. Let us move forward. Given is nothing but the areas of the circle C1 and C2. Using the areas we can find the radius. Using radius we can find the value of a and b, and once you have got the value of a and b, we can use that to find the equation of lattice rectum. So let us try and solve this in that order. So in the first part this is given. The second part, let us write the radii of this. So for the first circle, the radius, the area will be pi a square. This is given as 36 pi. You can clearly see that the value of a comes out to be 6. For the second one, you can see that now here this point is nothing but AE. So from this AE, if I subtract a, I should get my radius. So you can see that pi AE minus a whole square, this will be the area of the next one, is equal to 4 pi. So 4 will get cancelled out, pi will get cancelled out. So AE minus a is equal to 2. A is already 6. So 6 minus e minus 6 is equal to 2. So you can see that 6e will be equal to 8. E comes out to be 4 by 3. Now using this e, we can find the value of b. So in the third part, I am finding the value of e. So 16 by 9 or e square will be equal to 1 plus b square by a square. If I take it here, it will become nothing but 7 by 9 is equal to b square by a square. Now you can see that if I want to find lattice rectum, I do not need to solve this because the answer is going to be 2b square by a. So you can see that what I want is the value of b square by a. For finding that, if I just take a on the other side, so this a was nothing but 2, a was nothing but 6. So this becomes the value of b square by. So if you substitute the value of b square by, it will become nothing but 7 into 2 by 3, 28 by 3. If I check the options, you can see that your A option matches. Then in this type 4 questions, we are going to look into questions based on oblique equation of hyperbola. So if I look into this next problem, they have given eccentricity, equation of directrix and focus. So I can apply the idea of SP is equal to EPM. Now when we are doing such question, a short way to do the question would be to make a simple diagram rather than a complicated oblique diagram. So this will become nothing but 1, 2. The equation of this is given. We can consider the P. Now if you are very specific, consider it as h, k. If you are not that specific, take it as x, y, it will be shorter to implement. Now this is M. So we'll find the value of SP. So you can see that SP from here is nothing but x minus 1 whole square, y minus 2 whole square from distance formula. From perpendicular distance formula, it will be ax1. So it will become 3x plus 4y minus 2 का mod divided by root of 3 square plus 4 square. Now if I take these values and substitute in the next part, in SP is equal to PM, EPM, I should get my answer. So SP came out to be root of x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square. E is given as root 3. What we have is nothing but 3x plus 4y minus 2 ka mod, root of 3 square plus 4 square will become 5. I can square it up. So this will become x minus 1 whole square, y minus 2 whole square is equal to 3 by 25 times 3x plus 4y minus 2 whole square. We can simplify this and get the final answer. Moving forward, another kind of question is when we have to identify what kind of conic this is. We have already done this in ellipse, and same question we did in ellipse, same question we did in parabola. Again we are doing it. So idea is that if you get an equation of this form, that is 2 degree quadratic plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 0, we need to check the value of delta, that is a, b, c, h, g, f. Easier to remember, you will never forget it. This should not be equal to 0, and if you figure out the value of h square, it should be greater than ab. In case of ellipse it was smaller than ab, in case of parabola it should be equal to ab. See, having such comparative analysis into place compared to other conic section help you remember the facts better. Moving on the third type. Now what you have been given are three ideas. One, you have been given the foci, and second, you have been given the length of transverse axis. That is nothing but 2a. If this information is given to you, using this information also we can find S1P. So what we are doing now, 2 points are given. This is S1, this is S2, and we can take a general point P on the curve. So this point can be considered as h comma k if you are very particular. If you are not that particular, you can consider this point as x comma y. Now you can find the value of S1P, find the value of S2P using distance formula. Once you figured this out, put the value in this expression and get the answer. Let us take a question. So let us say that the points are given as 1, 2 and 2, 3. These are the two foci. S1 is given, S2 is given. We can consider the point P as nothing but x, y for the sake of simplicity. So what we are saying is S1P minus S2P ka mod should be equal to 2 times A. Now in such questions, 2a will also be given. Let us say it is given as nothing but 4. So if I put the values, this will become root of x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square minus root of x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square, and the mod is given as nothing but 4. Now what we have to do is we'll have to square this up. If I square it up, you will have to square it twice. So it would be better if I remove this modulus sign right in the first step. It will not make a difference. You can write this equal to plus minus 4. Take one on the other side. This I will keep on this side. And I can take the other one on the other side and then square it. So plus minus 4 plus root of x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square. So if I square it up, this comes out to be x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square. This will become 16 plus x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square. And we have plus minus 8 times root of x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square. Now once you have done that, we'll simplify. If I bring all the terms on the left hand side, you can see that this and this, if I club together, it will be a square minus b square. So a square minus b square will have to add this and then subtract this. If you add this, what you get is 2x minus 3. But if you subtract them, what you get is nothing but 1. In the second part also, same thing will happen with this too. We will have to add them and subtract them because we are getting the formula of a square minus b square. So if I add them, what I get is 2y minus 5. And if I subtract them, again what I get is nothing but 1. Then minus 16 is equal to plus minus 8 root of x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square. Once you have got this, now you can see that it is getting simplified. So what we will get is nothing but 2x plus 2y, this minus 3 minus 5 will become minus 7. It will get there, it will become minus 23. Check my calculation. And now what you have got is with plus minus sign, 8 root x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square. We can square them up and get the final answer. So if I square it and simplify, I am not doing it, you can do it. It will become 64 times x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square. You will get your answer. Now all of these results are summarized in the form of a table. You can pause the video and go through these tables if you want to. Now type 5 problems are based on nothing but position of a point with respect to a hyperbola. Now again, this is very important and questions can be asked on this idea, because see, in this case the condition will change. So if I find the value of S1, x1 square by a square, in the standard case y1 square by b square minus 1. If this is greater than 0, it will be flipped. In this case it will be inside. If it is equal to 0, it will be on it. If it is smaller than 0, it will be outside. So you can see that these conditions are opposite to what we have done earlier. So that makes this case especially important, and questions can be asked on this, especially because question has not been asked in last 3 to 4 years. So this is a probable area where you can get a question. I will do a very simple question just to illustrate the idea. I'm not going to question because question has not been asked. Now what you can do in this case is find the value of S1. It will be nothing but 9 times x1 square minus y1 square minus 1. So if I put the value of x1, this will become 9 into 25 minus 16 minus 1. Clearly you can see by the nature of values it will be greater than 0. That would mean the point is inside. A very simple idea, but you should understand this to do even tougher questions. So you can see that we have completed our discussion till the point part. Everything has already been covered till point part. Now moving on, next we have type 6 question based on condition of tangency. Now technically this is out of syllabus, but again, as I said earlier, questions have been asked. So it is better to be prepared than to be unprepared in the exam. So if I look into the condition of tangency, an equation of tangents, the condition of tangency is, you can see the C part. And now this, if you look into the C part here, the condition for ellipse was a square m square plus b square. This was for ellipse. For hyperbola, if I want to write the condition, I do not even need to remember it. I will replace b square by minus b square, and this is a very important thing. So you can see that in this equation also we replace b square by minus b square. T equal to 0 remains same for all the conic sections. Now in t is equal to 0, that is x1 by a square minus y1 by b square equal to 1. If I replace x by a sec theta, y by b tan theta, we should get the answer. So if I do so, it is x sec theta by a minus y tan theta by b is equal to 1. Simplify this. So you have got the answer. You can see that now in order to remember this, it is very simple. If you remember the condition for the ellipse, replace b by minus b square, you get the slope wali condition. T equal to 0 is a general thing. Just by doing parametric coordinate substitution, you get the parametric form. So it is not at all difficult. Even if you don't remember, using this simple techniques can help you get the answers in the exam. If I look into this 2024 question says that the length of the lattice rectum directrix of the hyperbola with eccentricity E. Now what they are talking about as a hyperbola. Now if you look into the way x is given, so x is equal to constant is given. X equal to constant would mean the directrix will go like this, and if it goes like this, the orientation of the hyperbola is like this. So they have given the equation of this is nothing but x equal to 4 by 3. Once they have 4 by root 3. Once you have given that, they are saying that this line touches the hyperbola at a point x0, y0. If m is the product of the focal distance of x0, y0, then find the value of 4e square plus m. Now if I want to do this question, I should have some basic idea regarding basic things. So for example, the equation I should know. So if this is in the form x square by a square minus y square by b square equal to 1, I should be aware that the equation of this in the slope form is y is equal to plus minus. Now m you do not write m1 because m as a term is already used in the question. They have used m for product of focal distances. So don't use m here, use m1 plus minus root of a square m square minus b square. If you know this much, now you can align this equation on similar lines. You can see that y will become root 3x plus minus, and you can see that root 3 is written here. So if you closely observe, you will get the value of m1, that is nothing but root 3, and the value of 3 is equal to a square m1 square minus b square. If you put m1 here, the value will become a square into 3 minus b square. This is one relation. Look into the next part of the question. What they are saying is the length of latus rectum. So 2b square by a. This is given as nothing but 9. So from here the value of b square comes out to be nothing but 9a by 2. If I put in the equation that we just figured out, 3 is equal to 3 times a square and then minus b square. So this can be written as 9a by 2. So solving this, we can now get the value of a and b. So if I do so, 3 will get cancelled out. If I multiply by 2, 2 will be equal to 2a square minus 3a. So 2a square minus 3a minus 2 is equal to 0. This is what we have. Now here we can solve it. So this will become 3 plus minus root of b square plus 4 into 2 into 2 divided by 2a. This will be the answer. So now if you simplify, this is 3 plus minus. This will become 16. This will become 5 by 4. If I take plus sign, and I will have to take plus sign only, I can't take negative sign. The answer corresponding to that becomes nothing but 8 by 4. That comes out to be 2. If the value of a is 2, now b square was equal to 9 times a by 2. So you can see that this will become 9. Hence the value of b also comes out to be 3. So now we have figured out the value of a and b. So you can see that in the third step I have got the equation as x square by 4 minus y square by 9 is equal to 1. If you look into the question, they are talking about now two things. One is the value of m, e square I already know, and e. So e is simple to find. It is root of 1 plus b square by a square. So b square will become 9, a square will become 4. So answer becomes root of 13 by 4. So if you want to find the value of e square, it is nothing but 13 by 4. So this part we already know. For finding the value of m, that is nothing but the focal distance of the point. So you can see that now we have got a tangent that is touching the curve at x0 comma y0. What they are asking is, what is this focal multiplication of focal distances. Now if I want to get the value of S1, P, S2, P, a very important idea would be to know the value of S1, know the value of S2 and know the value of P. See, we know the eccentricity value, that is nothing but root 13 by 4. So if I find the value of AE, it would help me get the value of S1. So A, we figured out was nothing but 2. So 2 into root 13 by 2. So you can see that this point I know, this is minus root 13 comma 0. And this point is nothing but plus root 13 comma 0. So we know these points. There is no issue with the points. If I can get the point P, I will get my answer. So now how to get the point P? For getting point P, I have a result that if you have y is equal to mx plus minus root of a square m square minus b square. If this is a tangent to the hyperbola like this, in this case like this, so this point of contact corresponding to this tangent would be nothing but minus plus a square m by root of a square m square minus b square, and then b square in the same order minus plus root of a square m square minus b square. So you can see that if you are taking plus sign here, we should have minus sign here and vice versa. So in our case, if I want to do this calculation, how will we get the point P? So you can see that we have got the equation as nothing but root 3x minus root 3. So here there is a minus sign. So if I am using this result, I should take plus sign here. So plus of a square m by root of a square m square minus b square, and then plus of b square by root of a square m square minus b square. So correspondingly, if you calculate the values, this comes out to be nothing but 4, and then this comes out to be nothing but root 3, and this we already figured out was already root 3. This comes out to be nothing but b square, and b we figured out was nothing but 9. So this comes out to be 9, and this comes out to be nothing again but root 3. So you have got the points, you have got the point P. Now we have S1, we have P, By applying distance formula, I can find S1P. I can find S2P. Once I have figured out S1P and S2P, I can put it in and find the value of M. Once you have got the value of M, you can see that you have got all the things to find the answer. You have got E square also, M also. Satisfy and get the answer. Now type 7 problem is based on the idea of chord bisected. Now this idea has been constant since circle. We had used the same idea in ellipse also, parabola also, and now in the hyperbola we are extending forward the idea. So now T we are writing like we write equation of tangent, but x1 y1 is nothing but the point of bisection of the chord. So when you are writing this equation, something like this is happening. We have been given a chord whose midpoint is nothing but x1 comma y1. A chord in this case could be like this also. Then this point would become x1 comma y1. But this is the midpoint, that is for sure. So if you join any 2 points on the curve, you will get a chord. It is very unorthodox to write chords like this, because we have not been doing that. But in hyperbola, it is possible to do so. Moving forward, let us do a simple question. Question says that find the equation of the chord of the hyperbola which is bisected at 2, 1. So answer would be nothing but T is equal to S1. T if I write, it will become xx1 by a square minus yy1 by b square minus 1 is equal to S1, that will become x1 square by a square y1 square by b square minus 1. If I simplify, these two terms will get cancelled out. Put the value of x1 y1 as 2, 1. So this will become 2 by 36. This will become y by 9, and this part will become nothing but 4 by 36 minus 1 by 9. Simplify and get the final answer. Moving forward, we have the question. It says that the locus of the midpoint of the focal chord we need to find. So now when the locus based questions are there, you can see there are always 4 steps into place. This is my hyperbola. They are talking about a focal chord. So the chord should pass through AE, 0. Now they are talking about the locus of midpoint. So take the midpoint as h, k. This is nothing but our point P. So now if I want to find this equation of this chord bisected, it can be written as T is equal to S1. So if I write T equal to S1, in this case it will become x1. So x1 is nothing but h by 36 minus y by 1. So y1 is nothing but k by 9 minus 1 is equal to h square by 36 minus k square by 9 minus 1. Now after doing this, in the third we are going to eliminate. So we know that this chord passes through the focus. So AE, 0 should satisfy this equation. So let us in x put AE. So this will become AE into h by 36 minus 0 equal to h square by 36 minus k square by 9. So you can see that you have got your locus in the fourth step. Replace h by x. So x square by 36 minus y square by 9 minus AE into x by 36 is equal to 0. Simplify further to get the more simplified answer. Now this question says that find the locus of midpoint of the chord that are parallel to this line y is equal to 2x plus c. Now in this question, what they are asking is, if I write the equation of a hyperbola, a set of chord that is parallel to set of the chord that bisects, that is the first step. If I want to write that equation, that will become T is equal to S1. In this case, it will look like x h by a square minus yk by b square minus 1 is equal to h square by a square minus k square by b square minus 1. Once we have got this, in the next part, what we are seeing line, it will become nothing but h by k b square by a square. Now here they have given that the value of the slope is also 2. So let us replace this by 2. So h by k b square by a square is equal to 2. In the fourth part, that is the last, we are going to replace h by x and k by y. So it will become x by y is equal to 2a square by b square. You can simplify further to get a more elegant equation of a straight line. Now type 8 questions are based on the idea of rectangular hyperbola. If in a hyperbola, the value of a and b becomes equal, it will still remain a hyperbola, it will not become a circle. That kind of hyperbola is known as rectangular hyperbola. So what is happening is, in this equation, in the most elementary form, if I put a is equal to b, this equation transforms into x square minus y square is equal to a square, and this is the equation of rectangular hyperbola. If you find the eccentricity, it will be root of 1 plus b square by a square. Since a and b are equal, this will become root 2. These are two very typical things about it. We call it rectangular hyperbola because in this case, if we draw tangents meeting the curve at infinity, these kind of tangents have a name, they are known as asymptotes. So the slope of the asymptotes is nothing but, if you write the equation of the asymptote, you will have to remove the constant term. So if I simplify this, you can see that y is equal to plus minus b by ax. In this case, since b and a are equal, this becomes y equal to plus minus x. You can see that in case of, there is some special case forms wherein this angle is equal to 45 degree. And the angle between them becomes nothing but 90 degree. Now this is very important to understand that this angle is becoming 90 degree and half of that is 45 degree. Since it is 90 degree, we call it as rectangular hyperbola. Moving forward, now there are, what we can also have done is, you can see that if I align this curve, the original curve was like this. If I align it where the axes are rotated by 45 degree, so you have rotated your axis by 45 degree. So these are your new axes. If I do this rotation of the curve, I come up with the equation that looks like this, where c square is nothing but a square by 2. This is the most important idea to remember. Now in this case, the vertices are c comma 0, minus c comma c and minus c comma minus c. And if I want to find the value of foci, it will be again on the line y equal to x. So this will become root 2c comma root 2c. And the another one, if I want to find, it will become minus root 2c comma minus root 2c. So we have figured out both the foci, both the vertices. Directrix, you can see, would be line that will go like this. And you can see the slope is nothing but minus 1. So this will become minus x plus minus. So this will be plus 2 root c plus root c. And this one will become y is equal to minus x minus 2 root c. Once you have figured this out, the length of latus rectum, if you want to find, the length of latus rectum is something that will not change. So it will become nothing but 2 times 2 root 2c. And it is equal to the length of transverse axis and conjugate axis in this case. If I want to write the parametric equation, it will come out to be x equal to ct, y is equal to c by d. See, knowing this many results will help us solve certain kind of questions. Now, a question is given here, the locus of the midpoint of the parallel chords with gradients of the rectangular hyperbola is. The locus of the midpoint of the parallel chords. So now let us write what they are saying is, we have been given a hyperbola, let us draw this hyperbola. Locus of the midpoint of the parallel chord. The midpoint of the chord will become h comma k. Because the locus of midpoint is getting asked. So we will write the equation as t is equal to s1 in the first part. So now here t will become xy1 plus yx1 by 2 s minus c square and x1 y1 minus c square. You can see that if I simplify this, I am getting xk plus yh is equal to 2hk. So this is something that we have got. Now what they are saying is, the locus of the middle point of the parallel chords with gradient m. Now what they are saying is the slope of this. If I find the slope of this, it is going to be nothing but minus k by h. This is what we are getting, and they are saying this is equal to m. So m we have already put. In the third part, we will replace h by x, k by y. So x m is equal to minus y, or y plus mx is equal to 0. Let us check the options. So you can see that A option matches. Now let us look into this 2023 question. Question says that let R be a rectangle given by the lines x equal to 0, x equal to 2, y is equal to 0, y is equal to 2. So let us draw this. X equal to 0, x is equal to 2. 1 would be here, 2 would be here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is y is equal to 5. So there is a line like this. There is a line like this. This is the rectangle they are talking about, where a is nothing but alpha comma 0, b is nothing but 0 comma beta, and alpha and beta lies between 0 and 2 and beta lies between 0 and 5. Be such that the line segment AB divides the area of the triangle in the ratio 4:1. You can see that they are saying that on this line I can consider any point beta, 0 comma beta, and here any point 0 comma alpha. So this is alpha comma 0 and this is 0 comma beta. It needs to lie between 0 and 5 and 0 and 2. Once we have line segment like this is point A and this is point B, then the area of the rectangle R is divided in the ratio 4:1. This is divided in the ratio 1:4. Now once you have this, what they are asking is the midpoint of AB lies on a parabola hyperbola. Now they want us to tell us the midpoint of this, let us say h comma k, where does it lie? Now let us do this question in such a manner that first find the equation of this AB, and it is possible to be found because they have given us the ratio. So if I find the area of this small triangle that is given to me here, this would be nothing but half of base into height, that will become nothing but beta alpha. Now another part, so now what they are saying is the ratio of this part. So let us say that this is nothing but area 1 by area 2 is nothing but 1:4. So if I take area 1, it is nothing but 1/2 alpha beta. The whole area, if you figure out, that whole area would be nothing but 2 into 5. That is the area of the rectangle minus 1/2 alpha beta. Now this is given as 1/4. So if I simplify this, you can see that this will become 4 alpha beta by 2 is equal to 10 minus alpha beta by 2. So you can see that 5 times alpha beta by 2 is equal to 10. If I cancel this out, I get this as 2. So alpha beta is equal to 4. So what we are getting is basically alpha beta is equal to 4. So these points alpha and beta satisfy this relation. Now in the second part, what they are talking about is the midpoint of this is h comma k. So now let us talk about the second part that talks about the midpoint. So you have a line, one end is 0 comma beta, another is nothing but alpha comma 0, and we are talking about the midpoint h comma k. So h will be nothing but alpha plus 0 by 2. So h is nothing but 2h is nothing but alpha. Similarly, k would be nothing but beta plus 0 by 2. So 2k is equal to beta. In the next step, that is third step, once we have done this, we can put alpha and beta value here. So this can be written as 2h, 2k. This is equal to nothing but 4. So what you are getting as locus is nothing but hk is equal to 1. So x into y equal to 1 will become the locus, and x into y equal to 1 is nothing but a rectangular hyperbola. So answer of this question comes out to be a hyperbola. Now 9 type of problem that we are going to solve is based on the properties of hyperbola. The most prominent properties, though there are many, are 2. One is basically this second property. First we have already done. The second property talks about locus of fit of perpendicular drawn from the foci and on any tangent is the auxiliary circle. If you want to find these, you can see that this point, if I drop a perpendicular from here, will lie on this auxiliary circle. We have discussed the idea of auxiliary circle a little time back. Also, if I find this perpendicular length of multiplication of perpendicular tangents, it is equal to b square. JEE Advanced has framed a question based on that. So I am sure that sometime in JEE Mains this question will come sooner or later. So knowing this property will help you solve the question. Moving forward, another important property is nothing but this reflection property. So if ray of light starts from one of the foci, it will get reflected and will go in such a manner that if you trace it back, it will seem that it passes through the other focus. Now this is a very important idea because using this we can solve questions based on reflection. Meaning results, if you want you can go over them, and sometime maybe they can be asked, but not very probable. Question says that the ray originating from the point 5, 0 on the hyperbola. So let us first draw the hyperbola. It looks like this: x square by 16 minus y square by 9 is equal to 1. On the hyperbola, if you find the foci, because reflection question important to find the value of the foci, we'll have to find the eccentricity first. So root of 1 plus b square by a square, 9 by 16 will come. So this becomes 5 by 4. So if I put AE comma 0, since A is nothing but 4, this point will become 5 comma 0 and this focus will become minus 5 comma 0. Now let us look into the question. A ray originating from 5 comma 0 is incident on the hyperbola at a point P. So it starts from here, from this focus, goes here, and then what they are saying is, and it reflects the point of abscissa. They have given the x coordinate of this point. This is x comma y. So after reflection, there is a reflected ray that goes like this. We know that it will go in such a manner that if I trace it back, it should pass through the other focus. So they want us to find the equation of this reflected ray. So now you can see that if I could somehow find this value of y, then I have got 2 points, and using 2-point form I can write the equation of the reflected part. In the second part, I will put it in the equation of the hyperbola. So this will become 64 by 16 minus y square by 9 is equal to 1. If I divide this, becomes 4. So y square by 9 is equal to 3. So the value of y comes out to be 3 root 3. You can see that now we have got 2 points. So in the third part, using 2-point form, so we have 2 points. One is minus 5 comma 0. Another one is 8 comma 3 root 3. See, it has been given that the point is in the first quadrant if you read the question carefully. So we are not considering the negative value of y here. An important point to be noted. Write the equation using 2-point form. Now let us move toward the last and the most anticipated problem type, that is based on conic-conic interaction. Now in this conic-conic interaction problem type, there is this 2024 question that talks about the foci of a hyperbola and the ellipse are same. We did a question like that earlier also. The eccentricity of the hyperbola is 15 by 8 times the eccentricity of the ellipse. Then the smaller focal distance of the point on the hyperbola is equal to. So if I draw the equation of the ellipse, you can see that this point is more, this value is more than this value. So it will be aligned in this direction. So this point will become 0 comma AE and this will become 0 comma minus AE. So for this you will have to find the eccentricity. Eccentricity will be equal to root of 1 minus b square by a square. So this is 9 by 25. If you simplify, it comes out to be 4 by 5. A we know is nothing but 5. So this point becomes 0 comma 4. And this point becomes 0 comma minus 4. So whatever we could borrow from here, we have already done. Now let us move to the hyperbola. In the hyperbola, it is also going to have the similar kind of orientation with the same focus. So this point is given as 0 comma 4. This point will become 0 comma minus 4. Now what they are saying next is the eccentricity. If you talk about, now we know that the point P is in the first quadrant. So S1P would be this distance. This is the smaller of the focal distance and is equal to. So I can now directly apply the distance formula in the third part. So you know the value of S. This point is nothing but 0 comma 4. S1 and P is given in the question as root 2 comma 14 by 3 root of 2 by 5. So using these two, you can apply the distance formula and get the answer. There is one more way to do the question, that is, now alternatively you could have figured out this directrix and then S1P is equal to PM1 you could have applied. So you can apply S1P. If you write, I can apply EPM1. This would be probably simpler to do. I don't think so, because you will have to find the value of E in between, that is E2, and then take some consideration of what is the distance, etc. So I will not recommend this. It will overcomplicate things. This approach is more than good to find the answer. Now if I look into this 2019 question says that S is nothing but xy. Now see, they are saying that this equation can become ellipse also, hyperbola also. What is the situation when it becomes ellipse? What is the situation it becomes in hyperbola? So let us consider the hyperbola ka case first. So see, we are saying that this is an hyperbola. So that would mean this will become my a square and this will become my b square. So if I am taking hyperbola case, what is going to happen? In case of hyperbola, you can see that 1 plus r and 1 minus r both will be positive. So that would mean r is going to be greater than, should be smaller than 1. So r can lie between -1 and 1 for that matter. And the second thing, what can happen is basically, if this becomes a, the eccentricity is going to become a root of 1 plus b square by a square. You can see that this is b square, so this will become 1 minus r by 1 plus r. So if I simplify, you can see my answer will become 2 by 1 plus r ka root. This is the answer. Now let us see whether it matches anything or not in the question. So E should be smaller than 1. We are talking about hyperbola. So A and B options are into the play. And it becomes root of root 2 by 1 plus r. It is not given in any of the options. There is no root present in the numerator. So this I cannot do. Next, let us consider it to be an ellipse. So now if I want to consider it an ellipse, and now let us rub things down, then this thing needs to be negative. So this will become nothing but y square by 1 plus r. This will become plus x square by r minus 1 is equal to 1. So now we can see that r plus 1 is obviously greater than r minus 1. So this will become my a square. This will still remain my b square. But if I write the eccentricity, so this will happen when r minus 1 is greater than 0. So r comes out to be greater than 1. And if I write the eccentricity in this case, it should be equal to 1 minus b square by a square. If I put the values, this will become 1 minus b square is nothing but r minus 1 by r plus 1. If you simplify, this will become root 2 by r plus 1. So root 2 by r plus 1, it is given in option C. So your C option becomes the correct answer. In this 2020 question, E1 and E2 are the eccentricities of this hyperbola and ellipse that is given to us. And if the point E1, E2 lies on this, so you can see that there are 3 different conics that we are talking about. Let us approach them one by one. If I want to find E1, it is nothing but the eccentricity of this ellipse. It will be 1 minus b square by a square. So answer becomes 1 minus 4 by 18. So 4 by 18 will become, I can cancel out 2. So it will become root of 7 by 9. Root 7 by 3 can also be written. In the second part, if I want to find E2, they are saying that it is nothing but the eccentricity of the hyperbola. So it will become root of 1 plus b square by a square. In this case, b square is nothing but 4. This is nothing but root 13 by 3. Now once you have got this, we move to the third part of the question. There says that this point satisfies this curve. Then find the value of k. So what they want us to find is 15e1 square plus 3e2 square is equal to k. And now we know the value. So this will become e1 square will become 7 by 9. And then what you have is nothing but 3 times y e2 square. e2 square will become 13 by 9. If you sum them up, you get the value of k. If I look into this 2020 question, it talks about eccentricities of a hyperbola and an ellipse. So let us first resolve this hyperbola. X square by 10 minus y square by 10 cos square theta. This is equal to 1. So if I want to write the eccentricity, it is going to be root of 1 plus b square by a square. So the value of this comes out to be 1 plus cos square theta. If I want to do it for the second curve is given to me as ellipse. So if I write it down, it is x square by 5 cos square theta plus y square by 5 is equal to 1. Now you can see that this value is greater than this value. So this will become my b and this value will become my a. So if I write the eccentricity, it becomes root of 1 minus b. So if I write the value, this becomes 1 minus 5 cos square theta by 5. This will get cancelled out and the answer becomes nothing but sin theta. Since theta in the first quadrant. Third part, what they have given is the eccentricity of the first one is root 5 times the eccentricity of second. So this is root of 1 plus cos square theta. It is root 5 times. So we have simplified, but it was not required. Can be written as root of 1 minus cos square theta. If I square them up, the 1 plus cos square theta is equal to 5 times 1 minus cos square theta. So you can see that 6 cos square theta would be equal to 4. So from here we get the value of cos theta. That comes out to be root of 2 by 3. Once you have got, so if I substitute the value, this becomes 2b square. That will become 5 into 2 by 3. And the value of a is nothing but root 5. So this will cancel out and become root 5. So answer becomes 4 root 5 by 3. And if I now this 2024 question is the exact replica of the earlier question, so it can be done in the similar manner. Now these kind of questions where the foci of ellipse and hyperbola coincide, this also we have done. Let us do this question. So if I want to do this question, the first part would be to find the foci of this ellipse that is given to me. So it will have this kind of orientation. This point will become AE minus AE comma 0. And this point will become AE comma 0. For that, we'll have to find the value of eccentricity. So if I find the eccentricity, root of 1 minus b square by a square. So if I simplify, this becomes simply nothing but 3 by 4. So if I put the multiply the value of 4, so this point comes out to be 3 comma 0. This comes out to be minus 3 comma 0. In the next part of the question, second part, they are saying that this has the same kind of foci. So this point and this point is same as earlier. So this becomes 3 comma 0. This becomes minus 3 comma 0. You can see that I do a small speedy transition from ellipse to hyperbola. I do not mix up the ideas. If you mix up the ideas, you will become confused. Make separate diagrams and then do it. It is really simple. So now for the new one, this will become AE comma 0. So now for the new hyperbola that is given to us, if I write the equation, it will become 144 by 25 minus y square by alpha by 25. This is given to us. So now you can see that I can compare the value of E as nothing but 3 and get the answer. So I can square this up. So a square E square will be equal to 9, and we know that this value will be equal to a square plus b square. Put this value, so this will become 144 by 25. This becomes alpha by 25. This is equal to 9. So you can solve this and get the answer. Now this 2020 question talks about a hyperbola having transverse axis length as root 2. So let us keep writing. So twice of a is nothing but root 2 and has the same foci as that of an ellipse. You can see that this is my hyperbola. Second part they are talking about is nothing but an ellipse. So this is the ellipse. So if you write the ellipse, the equation will become x square by 4 plus y square by 3 equal to 1. From there the value of a is nothing but 2, b is nothing but root 3. And eccentricity, if I try and figure out, it is root of 1 minus b square by a square. So 3 by 4 comes out to be root of 1 by 4, 1 by 2. If I want to write the foci, it will become AE. So this becomes 1 comma 0. And another one will become minus 1 comma 0. So this point will also become minus 1 comma 0, 1 comma 0. This is given to us. Now what they are saying is this hyperbola does not pass through. So see, idea would be in the third to find the equation and then in fourth satisfy the points. So let us find the equation. Now we have got the value of A. This is nothing but AE. So you can see that AE for the new one is given as nothing but 1. You can see that from here if I square it up, A square E square will be equal to 1. So this is nothing but A square plus B square equal to 1. In this case the value of A of hyperbola is given as 1 by root 2. So this will become 1 by 4. B square is equal to 1. So B square becomes 3 by 4. What we have done is we have got the equation of the hyperbola as x square by 1 by 4 plus y square by 3 by 4 is equal to 1. Check the options and see which does not satisfy. It is very important. Question says does not pass. Otherwise you will get the wrong answer. Now this next 2020 question talks about E1 and E2 are the eccentricities of the ellipse that are given to us and the hyperbola that are given to us, satisfying E1 E2 equal to 1. So if I talk about the ellipse that is given to me, they are saying that B is smaller than 5. So orientation would be like this. A is nothing but 5 and B is nothing but B. In the second part, they are talking about one hyperbola that will also look like this. And for this, A is nothing but 4 and B is nothing but B. They are saying that E1, E2 is equal to 1. So let us find E1 from here. It is root of 1 minus B square by A square. And from here E2, if I write, it is nothing but root of 1 plus B square by A square. So B square by 16. Then the third part, what they are saying is, if you write E1, E2, it is given as 1. It will become root of 1 plus B square by 25 into root of 1. This is minus 1 minus B square by 25. And this is 1 plus B square by 16. This is given as 1. So you can solve this, get the value from B from here. So in the fourth part, if I try and solve it, from B we can get the value of E1, E2. Once we have got the value of E1, E2, the distance between this foci will be nothing but twice of AE. A is nothing but 5, so E1. And beta you can get is nothing but 2 times. You can say that the value of A here was 4. So 4 times E2. Once you have got these two values, you can find the final answer. Now this 2021 question says that the hyperbola passes through the foci of this ellipse. So So let us first draw the ellipse. Your ellipse looks like this. If you want to find the focus, you will have to find the eccentricity. That in this case becomes root of 1 minus 16 by 25. So this will become 9 by 25, 3 by 5. So your focus will become 3, 0 and minus 3, 0. Now this is my ellipse. I have done the analysis. Hyperbola passes through the foci and its transverse axis, conjugate axis coincide with the major and minor axis. So what is happening in the next part? That is hyperbola part is. Hyperbola goes like this through the focus. So these vertices are now the new focus. Vertices are nothing but the old focus. So you have these points given. Now if the product of their eccentricities is 1, another condition is given. In the third part, they are saying that E1 into E2 is equal to 1. Then the equation of the hyperbola is, you can see that from here, this point will become a, 0, the value of a comes out to be 3. And if it came out to be, the E1 came out to be nothing but 3 by 5. So this can be written as 3 by 5. E2, so E2 will be nothing but 5 by 3. In the fourth part, what you can do very simply is nothing but apply the formula. So E square will be equal to 25 by 9. And this will be equal to 1 plus b square by a square, if we have figured out is 9, is equal to 25 by 9. So if I simplify, b square by 9 will be equal to 16 by 9. And if you remove this, b square comes out to be 16. So in the fifth part, we can write the equation of the hyperbola. So x square by 9 minus y square by 16 is equal to 1. Let us check the options. So option B satisfies. Now if I look into this 2022 question, says that the hyperbola and the ellipse, B says that the length of latus rectum of H is equal to the length of latus rectum of E. B says that the length of latus rectum of H, the length of latus rectum of the first one will become 2b square by A, and the length of latus rectum of ellipse, if we write the ellipse equation would be 3x square. If you divide by 12, this becomes 4 plus y square by 3 is equal to 1. So latus rectum, so this is 1, this is 2, it is 2 b square, so b square will become 3 by 2, so this comes out to be 3. So what they are saying is these two latus rectums in the next part are equal. The second one, if I equate them, 3 will be equal to 2 by A. So A comes out to be 3 by 2. This we have got. Now H and EE are the eccentricities of H and E respectively. So in the third part, they want us to find the eccentricity of ellipse. So it means eccentricity of the ellipse is root of 1 minus b square by a square. That will be 3 by 4 comes out to be 1 by 2. E of hyperbola comes out to be root of 1 plus b square by a square. Now they have given you the value of a square, we have figured out, it is nothing but 9 by 4. What we want is the value of b. B in this case was already given this one. If you simplify, this is root of 1 plus 4 by 9. This comes out to be root 13 by 2. So if I am writing even EH square 12 times in the fourth part, 12 times root of EH square plus EE square. In this 2024 question, the E1 be the eccentricity of the hyperbola, E2 be the eccentricity of the another hyperbola, which passes through the foci of that. You can see that similar kind of questions are there. They have now given a hyperbola that looks like this. And the value of A is nothing but, A square is nothing but 16, B square is nothing but 9. So if I want to find the eccentricity, even it will become root of 1 plus B square by A square, and this comes out to be 1 plus 9 by 16. This is nothing but 5 by 4. So this is the eccentricity of the first one. E2 is the eccentricity of the next one. So x square by A square plus y square by b square equal to 1, A is greater than b, would mean the orientation is something like this. And eccentricity E2 will become nothing but 1 minus b square by A square, which passes through. Now what they are saying is this ellipse passes through the foci. So this would mean these 2 points that we are talking about here are nothing but the focus. So for that you will have to find this focus. For that we have already eccentricity. If I multiply by 4, this will become 5, 0, and this focus will become minus 5, 0. Once you have this, this is 5, 0. This point becomes nothing but minus 5, 0. Now what we have got with this is nothing but the vertices. So you can see that the value of A will become 5. Once you've got the value of A, now what they're saying is, if the E1 E2 is equal to 1, then the third part, if I multiply E1 with E2, it will become 1. Since E1 E2 is equal to minus 1, E1 we have considered as the first one, so that is nothing but 5 by 4. This E2 will become nothing but that for ellipse. So you can see that the value of E2 from here comes out to be nothing but 4 by 5. Once I have got the value of E2, in the next step, that is fourth step, we will try and figure out the value of B. So it is 1 minus B square by A square for the ellipse, and this is nothing but 4 by 5. Now A we already know is 5. So if you figure out the value of B, this is 1 minus B square by 25 is equal to 4 by 5. You can see that the value of B square will come out to be 9 from here. B is equal to 3. Now in the fifth part, what they are asking us to do is they want us to find the length of the chord which is parallel to the x-axis and passes through 0, 2. So if I draw the diagram, this is my diagram. Length of the chord parallel to the axis passes through 0, 2. So this is 0, 3. 0, 2 would be somewhere here. So your chord will go like this. Passes through 0, 2. So the y coordinate of this point is nothing but, the x coordinate we don't know, y coordinate is nothing but 2. So this is x2, this is x1, 2. In order to find this, you can substitute this value x square by 25, this was this equation, plus y square by 9 is equal to 1. So put this value of x1, 2 here. If you solve, you will get the value of x1, x2. Once you have done that, what we want is the difference between x1, x2. It's in 2024 question says that the foci and the length of the latus rectum of this ellipse B plus minus 5, 0 and root 50, then the square of the eccentricity of the hyperbola is. Now you can see that this is quite a simple question. First part, let us draw this ellipse. So ellipse is something like this. This is the first part. In this first part, what they are saying is the foci and the length. So now foci, if I talk about, this is given as 5, 0, and the length of latus rectum, that is 2b square by A. This value is given as nothing but root 50. So if this is the value of AE is nothing but 5. And now you have been given this value. So if I square this up, A square E square will be equal to 25. In case of ellipse, it is A square minus B square is equal to 25. Now here you can see that B square value you can put as nothing but A by 2 or root 50. So this can be written as A. This is nothing but root 2 into 5. So 5 of A by root 2. If I substitute this value of B square, this is A square minus 5A by root 2 is equal to 25. So solving this, you can get the value of A. Once you have got the value of A and B, in the next part, in the second part, we will find the value of A and B. And in the third part, once you have got the value of A and B, the hyperbola is given as x square by B square minus y square by A square B square is equal to 1. So once you have done this, the value of eccentricity of this one will be root of 1 plus a square b square by b square. This will get cancelled out. So e square they are asking, it will become 1 plus a square. Substitute the value and get the answer. This 2024 question says that S be the focus of this hyperbola. So let us draw this hyperbola that is given to us. So in the first part, when I am drawing the hyperbola, it is like this. Equation is given x square by 3 y square by 5 equal to 1. On the SB on the positive side, so they are talking about this focus. If I want to find the location, I will have to find the eccentricity. That is root of 1 plus b square by a square. That will become 5 by 3. So this will become root of 8 by 3. So once you have this, if you multiply, this will become root 8 comma 0. So this is the first part of the question. C be the circle with its center at a comma root 6. So let us go into this circle now. Circle ka center that they have given to us is nothing but root 6 comma root 5 and passes through the point S. They have given this point S on it, that is root 8 comma 0. So this point is nothing but A, this point is nothing but S. Now they are talking about a extremity B of the diametrically opposite point. So if this is S, this is A, they are talking about this B. SAB is the diameter of C. If I want to find this B point, now for finding this B point, we can apply section formula. So you can consider this as x1 comma y1. So x1 plus root 8 by 2 will be equal to root 6. So x1 from here is nothing but 2 root 6 comma minus root 8. Similarly for y1 I can do y1 plus 0 by 2 will be equal to root 5. So the value of y1 comes out to be 2 root 5. If I talk about triangle OSB, you can see that origin will be 0 comma 0. S we already figured out was nothing but root 8 comma 0. And now we have also figured out the B point, and this B point is nothing but x1 comma y1 that we already figured out. Now since we know all the three vertices of this triangle, the area of triangle can be figured out. Now in this 2022 question, what they are saying is there is a case of an hyperbola and parabola interaction. So you have a hyperbola that is given to us. Now this hyperbola has a point 2 root 2 and minus 2 root 2 passing through it. So if you write the equation that is given to me, x square by a square y square by b square equal to 1. First equation I can get by satisfying this point. So 8 by a square minus 8 by b square is equal to 1. This is my first condition. Now for the second part, what they are saying is there is a parabola that has focus same as that of this one. So this will also be AE comma 0. And the directrix passes through the other focus. So we know that both of these distance needs to be equal. So my parabola is going to look like that. So here the equation will become y square is equal to 4ax. A will be equal to AE. So once we have got this information, in the third part, what they are saying is the length of latus rectum of the parabola, that is nothing but 4a, will be equal to E times the latus rectum of hyperbola, that is 2b square by. Now we know that this value 4a is equal to AE. This is E, this is 2b square by a. This E will get cancelled out. This 2 will also get cancelled out. So you can see that 2 is equal to b square by a square. Now we can see that clearly you have got two equations, two unknowns. We can easily figure out the value of a and b. Once you have figured that out, we can get the equation of parabola and get the answer. So fourth step would be to find the value of a square b square, and using these to ultimately get the value of a, which will become nothing but a. In the fifth part, we can figure out the parabola, that is y square is equal to 4ax. That will become 4aex. Once you have got this, you can satisfy the option and check the points. If you like this video, you will also like PracBee's unique one-on-one last mile journey program. In this program, we sit with the student, understand their preparation till this point of time, and based on that, in step 2, we write a customized planner just for you to help you optimize your marks in JEE Mains exam based on whatever preparation you have done. In the step 3, we sit with you one-on-one by a set of faculties aligned by PracBee and help you implement the customized plan that we wrote for you. Students have come to us with limited
or good preparation, and all have been able to score their marks to a large extent. Ashish, using this program, was able to improve his fortunes by lot, starting from 95 percentile in JEE Mains attempt 2 to getting selected for mechanical in IIT Madras. Ditya, over a period of time, was able to crack into JEE Advanced using this program. If you think that this seems interesting to you, click on the link below in the description, fill the required details, and somebody from my team will get in touch with you.